So it just took everything apart, and then you're in the midst of the debris flying.
Yes, correct.
And the dog's in your hands. And you remember this? You weren't unconscious?
No. I remember flying through and having the dog and landing in the middle of my shoulders and then that's where it went black for me.
So you're in the air. Do you remember literally?
Oh, absolutely. I remember seeing things flying through the air. I remember seeing my father.
You saw your father flying through the air?
Yes, and beams and wood and dirt and glass and everything.
Did you see the ground like a distance away?
No. We did land like about a half a mile away.
No way.
Yes, when we were plopped down, we were about a quarter to a half mile away from our concrete plant. So we literally were in the tornado, and it carried the wind and the debris and everything, and it carried us a half mile and just went plop.
You didn't get tossed. You got carried and thrown far away. I can't hardly believe it.
Correct. But I broke my back in between my shoulders. It's called T6 and T7, the thoracic 6 and 7. And that's where I landed.
So you just landed flat on your back in the cornfield?
Yeah.
Was the corn up, or was it not that it really matters?
It was up because it was August, like the last part of August. So it was still up.
So you're flying. You had to have been in the air for a long time because you don't travel a half mile too quickly, right?
It depends on how fast the tornado's moving, but they can click pretty quick. But I passed out when I hit the ground in the trailer, where I first landed. It broke my back when I first landed inside the trailer being kind of tossed around.
Oh, okay. So the first initial throwing you around and then slam, then it took you.
Yes. Yeah. Again. And then I woke up. When I landed again, I woke up. My dog was licking my face.
Your dog survived?
He survived. That's a whole story in itself.
That is.
It's an amazing story. I'll have to, if we come back to it, I'll tell you.
I don't know if I was,
have enough time to talk about it all.
Jeez Louise. I don't know if I was ready for this story. I didn't know it was quite this extreme.
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't remember the half mile travel.
Mm-mm.
You wake up on impact, which is somewhat the dog was licking
the dog
you, though.
Because I had passed out or I didn't have any head injuries, so I must have passed out when I broke my back.
What's going through your head from during this whirlwind where your body is in the air? Do you remember thinking anything at all?
No, I don't remember thinking anything other than I knew it was bad. I was holding the dog and seeing what I saw and then landing. Like I said, I don't remember anything until I woke up then.
That tends to be like that. When you were utterly helpless, you kind of just go into spectator
You're
mode.
out, yeah. Yeah, and it's slow motion feeling.
Slow motion.
Yeah,
Adrenaline's coursing through your body.
Absolutely. Everything else seems slow. Absolutely. So the dog woke me up, and I tried to sit up because that was my automatic sit up, and literally, Paul, debris everywhere around me. My cousin was underneath of me. I landed kind of on top of him. My legs were, and he looked up at me and he was just like, "Jill, move your legs, get them off." And I'm like, I can't. And I could see my brother and my sister, and I could hear my uncle walking around screaming for everybody, wanting to know where everybody was. And then I could hear my dad. He had a severe head injury. Really a massive head injury. It was bad. And I could hear him just breathing and breathing and breathing. And I could see him, and I knew that it was him. And it was just massive chaos, people coming up and trying to help. And I remember, you would know who she is, but my 8th grade health teacher was Mrs. Orth. And we did a thing on responding to injuries. And I just remember her instructions of if you come across somebody who you think is paralyzed or has hurt their back or their neck, do not touch them. So when people came up to me, I was like, don't touch me unless you have a backboard. Don't touch me because I'm paralyzed.
Way to
it just
think.
And how it just clicked in my brain. It was just,
that's impressive.
Don't touch me. And they were like, oh, okay. And literally when they came up to me, the EMTs, then I was like, I'm paralyzed. I can't feel my legs, whatever. And me being the older of all the siblings, I wanted to make sure I knew where Randy and Joni were. I just kept where's my brother and sister? Where's my brother and sister?
How old were they?
They were 11 and 10.
Okay.
And Randy, I could see he had severely broken both arms.
Were they just visibly broken?
Yeah, Randy, I could see, definitely. His arms were just
Pretty
bad.
gruesome.
Pretty gruesome. I believe he may have had a leg injury. I don't remember that. But my little sister, Joni, she didn't even look like she had any injuries at all. But actually, she almost died because they threw her in the back of a pickup truck to take her because there was not enough ambulances for everybody. There was like over 50 people injured and 5 people killed. And so there wasn't enough ambulances. So they threw her in the back end of a pickup truck with a mattress in it and took her into the hospital. And by the time she was like in the hospital, she was bleeding internally because she had inhaled a shard of glass and it was in her lungs.
Holy smokes.
And it was just, so they took her into surgery immediately and she's fine. The weirdest thing is that the shard of glass looked a lot like a little tornado. It was just, yeah, it was just some weird stuff. But so then, I mean, by the time the ambulance got there, I had the dog still and I wouldn't let anybody take him.